Hello to the chicos and the chicas inside my head in Wawrinka style is coming at you folks. Sicilianos is the opening, and the early a6 variation is a tricky club level trickery variation is what I would call it. It's based on the idea that now d4 is not really great because takes knight f6, knight c3, and then pawn e5 is annoying. So usually here we either do c3 or c4. I think c4 is more thematic, but sometimes I don't mind transposing into a 3c Sicilian where the usefulness of a6 is debatable. And that's exactly what we are heading towards. So now we are in a main line c3 Sicilian, where once again a6 may or may not be a handy move. Now there are a number of ways how I can develop here. I can do knight a3, trying to utilize that weak square on b6, but I also like bishop b3, which creates the threat of takes, which means that he's more than likely going to take me, and now I'm going to get a big tempo on knight c3, and we are headed for a IQP structure where actually a6 may have been quite useful because now b5 is incoming. So I wonder if that was a good call by me. We're going to see bishop d3, castles. This is all stock standard. Castles. Okay, knight c6 is interesting. I expected more like something like b5, bishop b7, and potentially put the knight this way. So usually now white players here tend to play queen a2, rook a d1, tuck the bishop away, those kinds of shebangs. So let's do that. Sorry about the text. Knight b4. Now it's forcing me to drop back somewhere. And it's rather awkward actually, because if I go bishop c4, then b5 is coming. Whereas if I drop back here, it's a little bit suboptimal. Okay, let's go back here anyway. Now he wants to reroute the knight here. The downside of doing that is that I have got an easy access to this square. So now we have got certain wins and certain losses. So let's go in. And obviously we are aiming to create some kind of kingside play. I will put this bishop here. And now we are getting ready for the first stage of our attacking operation, which is going to be to put the queen here and thus creating a mate threat down here. That move is aimed to trigger a weakness by, or rather a defensive measure by g6. And then there are various ways how we can continue the attack afterwards. But ideally, we would relocate the bishop to a2. I'm thinking in the meantime how much I like the idea that there is a straight possibility on. And the answer is not really. So now black's position is becoming quite sturdy, that I do not like. Actually, there is one thing that I can do that I quite like to do, and that would be a queen reroute here. Let's aim for that. We definitely need to stir the pot on the other side of the board, meaning here. But bishop b7, queen h4, knight takes c3, b takes c3, knight d5 looks like some kind of nuisance. That was a very unfortunate blunder by my opponent in a very interesting position. So bishop b7 was the move, and after queen h4, knight d5 maybe? But maybe then I can get cute with knight g4, starting to utilize these weak squares. That was a terrible blunder in a very unnecessary situation. Yeah, actually, I want to have a look at this because I am not happy at all with how I treated it. I haven't faced this a6 line for a while, and I have a very strong feeling that we misplayed it. And this is basically the modeling, guys, of, and I have spoken already about it in YouTube videos, even on the Perpetual Chess podcast, that anytime you play an online game, if you then don't look it up instantly afterwards, or if not instantly, then within reasonable time frame, So if you want to play a rematch, it's fine. But that chess session in my book should never ever stop with you not looking at the games, especially the ones where you went like, yeah, I don't know. Like I won this game in 19, 18 moves. I could walk away like, yeah, smash the guy. But I have got like 7 doubts. 7 different doubts in me now about, did I play this opening right? Did I choose the right plan? Where did I go wrong? And so on. And I want answers. And I'm not an improver by any stretch of the imagination. And I still do this all the time because this is, in my opinion, the only way forward. Is to strive to get better. And the only way to strive to get better is to actually face your own mistakes. And that's exactly what we are going to do here, folks. So a6, c3 is theory. d5, take. e6, bishop e3, fine. Take, knight f6, knight c3, queen d6. And here the engine one, rook c1. I'm not really sold on that move. Okay, I'm going to go on with what I did because I like bishop d3, bishop e7, castles, knight c6, okay. Knight e4. Right. Now this didn't occur to me, and this is a good move. Because after we trade this, it's difficult to develop the remainder of the pieces on the queen side, especially onto the long diagonal, because this pressure builds up really, really fast on that knight. But also it allows me stuff like queen d3 aiming down that way. Okay, that makes sense. So that's an important motive that I forgot, that although technically we are not meant to trade pieces, but that's a big improvement in my position. Bishop g5 was actually computer's best. I'm quite surprised. Okay, he played b5, and here I needed to take. That is again a move that I didn't even look at. Very interesting. So the idea is that if he takes with the knight, I guess I'll have queen d3, right? Yeah. Or bishop d2 right away. But white's advantage here seems to be absolutely minimal, if any at all. So actually here I think things slipped out of hand. And yes. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, guys. My bad. There you go. No, not that. That. You do see now what I see in regards to the analysis. Kind of, you do. Nope, that's not what I meant. Okay, never mind. So queen d3 is fine. g6 was iffy. Bishop h6 was the correct move, but I didn't see the follow-up after rook e8. Rook c1. Yeah, this is interesting. So, see, like the engine claims here that, yeah, go bishop h6 and it's gonna be plus 68.68. I play it out, and my plus 0.68 goes down to essentially nothing. So I'm not super excited about this variation. Oh, actually. Eat your words, dude. Queen f3. Hello. Attacking coming. Okay, so let's get to the bottom of this. Why is it so good? What happens if I come here? Oh, horse to e4. Rightio. Maybe not. Knight is incoming there. The queen b6. Rook d1. That's weird. Why can't we go here? Bishop f8. I wish I spoke computer language. I don't understand a single thing that's going on here. Why is this not capturable? Rookie, what? Okay, admittedly, sometimes you look up lines in the computer and you just go like, what? And we have just reached that point in our lives right now. Anywho, so this looked like a solid version of what I wanted to do. Instead, he took, which I thought was good, and here we expected bishop b7. Against which the engine recommends a4. I wanted to play queen h4. And knight d5 was the expected move. So at least I reasonably well predicted my opponent's good moves. It's just I couldn't find my own. And here I wanted to do this, but I think the computer will just laugh at this. Yeah. Yeah, bishop takes, queen takes, and queen f4 is reigning on the party really, really big time, trading down to a very, very cool endgame for black. Okay, so what is my only chance to stay alive? Uh, stay alive. Take, and... This is garbage, man. Okay, maybe I can take, and then play this endgame with a4. There's a lot of pawns on white, but... whoa, this is not looking like what we wanted. Okay, let's play another one. That was nowhere near as good as I would have liked it to be. But, okay. Let's see how we go next. Vishnu Vijay is our opponent, and I suspect London because that's what... Because that's what every man and his dog is doing these days. Brilliant. It's quite interesting that the chess boom has happened alongside with the London boom. Like, no prisoners whatsoever taken. Why did I not go to d7? That was a doozy. Queen d7 was a way better move here than queen c8. I'm busy talking junk and I get punished. I get punished. Okay, so now c4, b5, a5 is looking like a very juicy plan. Yeah, I can't resist. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Now, had I gone to d7, I would be able to play bishop d6, neutralizing this bishop. So that was once again a bit of a but we will be fine. Actually, I don't mind that trade at all. Please. Please go for that. That's good news for me. Because that brings my queen out. I can connect the rocks and just carry out my plan with a5, b4. So yeah, it's quite amazing that basically COVID and Queen's Gambit brought about an amazing chess boom. And alongside with the chess boom, we have been experiencing a never seen before London boom as well. And whilst one is absolutely desired and positive, the other one is more of a bummer. But I mean, each to their own. I'm not going to go on my usual rant about the London now just to be different, but I can't help but notice that whenever my opponents play d4 and knight f3, I always can safely bet that that is not a trickery business where they will play 3c4, thus avoiding certain variations. Nay, nay, nay. 99.9% of the time, you can guarantee that if a d4 is followed by knight f3, the London plague is coming at you. The London plague is coming at ya. So yeah, the idea is that I'm going to play for b4, and white is struggling to generate counterplay on the other side of the board. Although that being said, h4 actually is a bit of an interesting story here. Okay, so I can take knight back h5 and bishop d3. And take. I have done that before, actually. I don't think there is any other good way to attend to this problem. Yeah, no, we need to do this. Which actually makes me wonder if I needed to play here a cautionary h6, but the board is gone, so we don't worry about it now. So he plays h5, I go in, take, and then knight b3 is an interesting idea there to immediately claim the pawn. So in which case I can go a4. Why can I not draw arrows whilst I'm pre-moving? So a4, knight d4. Actually, that's a bit ugly because then b5 is hanging too. Now, I wasn't worried about this on the other hand because here I've got knight c5. And I quite like this position actually for black. Right? What's there not to like? Yeah, let's go. Let's go, baby. If b4, we always have knight e4. We totally missed this, but this doesn't look to me like a good move at all. This does not look good. Look like a good move at all. And my gut response to this should be f6, knight d3. Maybe f5. Forcing the en passant, and then bishop takes, and the idea is that if knight takes... that's not quite perfect there. Okay, this is fascinating because I don't believe what I'm seeing is good. But for the time being, I can't seem to be able to refute it. Okay, so if f5 takes... Bishop takes, knight takes... Knight takes, queen takes. I can't play e5, which I thought was winning for me because of queen g4, because d5 hangs with check. So this is a bit of an exciting story. I feel like I really want to hurt him on the king side somehow. But how? If I go f5 takes, pawn takes, knight in. Yeah, this bishop h6 tempo is a bit annoying. e5 again, knight takes c5, and this guy hangs. If I go b4, he has takes. Takes, knight d3. And I don't really see what I have there. Knight e4. I even have to watch f3. Wowzers, man. What's going on here? Okay, I can't help but think that f5 is the key to my success, so I need to figure out some clever ideas afterwards. I'm thinking if he takes, I take knight d3. Do I have b4 there? And if takes, I take, he takes back, and then I take, and b2 is a bit hurting. It feels way too speculative. How much easier my life would have been, man, if I had played queen d7 in the position that we talked earlier on, hey? Hindsight being the ultimate advisor. Maybe I'm gonna play knight d3, e5? How is that? Because if knight e5, bishop e5... Ooh, queen d5 check hurts there. It's not good enough, this trick, unfortunately. G5, E5. Take, take, take. Rook up. Oh boy. The game is on. The heat is on too. This to me looks like a mistake. But that I already said about other moves. And they turned out to be quite okay. Actually, just for the record. No, never mind. So once again, E5 takes, I take. He takes D3, that's a bugger. Because the knight F4 is threatened. Shivers. Okay, let's pull back. Knight d3. Now I've got knight e4, among many other moves. Maybe he wants g6. So it's either gonna be knight e4, or I can go up here right away hurting this dude, because if then g6, I can take this guy here, and then I pick off h5. Yeah, let's go here. Let's try to turn on the heat a little bit. If he goes there, I take. Queen g4, I double. Threatening e5, among other things. Very interesting battle here. Surprisingly sharp. Why is there an I next to my... Oh, very weird. Check this out, guys. Can anyone tell me what that I means next to my move there? Don't know. Now, a true London play would play Queen d4 and pray for the best, but this guy is actually playing pretty decent chess, I have to say. I'm not sure about that one, brother. Okay, let's just push past. Although taking may have been an alternative, but let's just go with this. So eventually my plan now is to play for some kind of e5 break. Well, hardly a break actually. But I need to be a little bit cautious about the fact that that weakens d5. But also his queen now needs to stay on this diagonal. So we are expecting queen here or queen here. Speaking of the devil, queen c4 is an interesting proposition. Ha! I really like that stuff. Actually, even here queen c4 is a super cheeky move with the idea of rook g5. And pinning the bishop. I love this move, man. That's so sneaky. Rook g5, game-winning threat. By the pin b3, I can capture this and then drop back here. That's mint. Huh. All of a sudden, I feel like we've got this, ladies. We have got this. Maybe f3, but that looks like an extremely ugly move that weakens so many things. Rather unnecessarily. I don't see an immediate refutation, but this stinks. And he misses. Oh boy. That was neat. That was pretty neat. In case I look satisfied, I am. And I shouldn't be, because obviously my rating is fairly low still on this business, and his is pretty low as well, so there's not a lot to pride myself on here. But I really did like this queen c4 idea with the multiple pins. It's an easy one to overlook. So now I have got this, and in case of f3, I have got this. And in case of that, we're winning a piece. And that is going to trigger the resignation. Okay, I want to see what happened here too. So let's jump into analysis mode and check out the sins that we have committed against yet another sin, the London itself. Why is it that I miscut this so badly? Yep, that looks alright, yeah. Okay, there is also a bit of a mishap here. That's a bit inaccurately cut. So now you guys get a bit of an insight into OBS editing. Alright, 98%, so we are nearly good to go. So, bishop f4, d5, blah blah blah. Yeah, queen d7 is the correct move. Unfortunately, we missed that board. e6 is recommended. Good stuff. Knight f3, c4 recommended. Black is clearly better. That's why you don't play the London. And here, h6. This really lame and timid move to secure the bishop would have guaranteed a sizable edge. I thought knight e5 was bad. Confirmed. Taking is actually best. Alright, so the analysis is done. Oh, okay, now I understand why this got miscut so badly. Now I have to cut it back. Oops. Okay, so bishop e7 or g, bishop e2, castles a5. Again, knight takes e5 was best. And so now after g4 we are in a pickle. So I actually made a5 was a naive mistake. Bishop back, and here apparently g5 is the right move. And h4 wasn't the right move. And here black is marginally better. Take, take. Knight f3. Knight c5. Knight e1, and a4 was the move. Oh, bugger. Okay, so a4. This is very nice. This is a beautiful idea. The concept behind a4 is that we are ripping the pawn structure apart. And so now if they play b3, knight e4, we pick the pawn back. And that is just very, very problematic for white. c3 is chronically, the bishop is out of play. And it's very difficult for white to find play here. So maybe knight takes c5, but then we take this. And now... again, a gazillion weaknesses in white's camp, and again the bishop on f4 is an overgrown pawn. So very, very interesting stuff there. What I'm only curious about is that, oh wow, if it a3 we have d2, and the queen can't take because of the fork. But what happens if the knight comes out? And then f6, and now we are really starting bruising them. I love the fact how these pawns are beautifully blockaded on black. So even if we are up down a pawn, these three versus these two are utterly useless. Okay, so this was actually inaccurate, largely inaccurate. And now black is somewhat better. d2. Oh, wow. That is so embarrassing. That's a beautiful tactic, man. That's a beautiful tactic. And if queen takes d2, then we can take this on knight e4. I'm not sure which one is more accurate, but let's go with the flashy bishop takes knight e4, double attack. The tactics, guys, the tactics are the game deciders. The tactics, always the tactics. Having said that, here he has got knight f3, right? e5, and now Ceccarino. Wowzers. So what happens if they take this? Take knight e4, and that king is beginning to feel the heat. But I'm not 100% persuaded that this is so clear. And neither is the engine actually. So it's just a smallish advantage, but very fascinating chess. So here multiple mistakes. Rook f5 was good. I'm proud. Queen takes was good. I'm proud. g6. Now I needed to ignore with rook af8. I did not. Queen g4 was fine. Queen c4 excellent. And that's a blunder. Excuse me. And after rook g5, queen g2, we just mobbed up. Very interesting stuff. I'm very curious about my report here. So, according to the engine, like this is just mind-blowing to me. I played a 94.7 accuracy game. Can you guys see that? Yes, you do have the visual on that one. Actually, I will show you this because it's worth looking at. It's zero everything. Zero everything. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And yeah, it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. I guess that 94% is an indicator that, yeah, that is not good enough. And I don't want to sound cocky or full of myself, but I felt like I've made a lot of, at least inaccuracies, often mistakes, such as the queen c8 move later on. I'm not seeing pawn a4. That was also a iffy problem. So yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. But this is how it is, guys. Two interesting games with some analysis. Actually, do we want another one? Yeah, let's check in another one. Why not? Let's chuck in another one. Just one more, because I feel like we won 2 games on 2 very ugly blunders. Oh, okay, same dude. Same dude as black. Usually plays the Caro-Kann if he's a... A London player plays the Caro-Kann. Oh boy, why do I read these people so well? I guess I've been coaching for too long. Okay, this could be a very interesting theoretical battle with bishop g4. So this line goes into a very, very long theoretical line that is actually very drawish. And knight b6, on the other hand, is a bit of a pet line of mine, in which I have scored remarkably well. I really like this variation. The idea is to do a quick e6s only, queenside castles, bishop e7, d5, and after the trade of these pieces, although my king is a little bit exposed here, the 2 bishops, man, firing down onto the enemy queenside, ironically, where my king is really, really powerful. I have had many games in this opening that I uploaded onto YouTube. So you might find this like, oh yeah, we have seen this before. The reason for that is because, yes, you have seen it before. And this is still theory. So like I said, the idea is d5 takes, knight takes, knight takes, queen c7, king b1, castles, f4. And that's where my real theory starts. So I have a massive file on this, and that's where it all begins. Queen c7 here, castles, and f4. It's quite a hair-raising variation at some point. So queen c8 is weird. I'm trying to think about... I'm trying to compare queen c8 to queen c7 and figure out what the benefit of having queen on c8 instead of c7 could be. Obviously, if I play f4 bishop here, there is a very pesky queen move here. The downside could be that now I have got easy development with bishop e4, perhaps rook d8, rook c1. And queen cannot come down here because this hangs, rook takes, queen takes. Don't know, bishop e2 looks... Well, sorry, bishop d3 looks like a legit move to me. Let me think for a sec here. Is h4 bishop h3 a plan here, perhaps? Bishop d3, queen h3, oddly enough, concerns me a little bit. Maybe it shouldn't. Bishop e4, f5 is not possible. Okay, let's see it. Oh, wait a second. Ouch. I nearly played that into knight b4. Wow. Holy cadoodly, that would have been pretty bad. And also f4, knight b4. If I... Yeah, this queen f5 check is annoyingly on. Okay. I need to think. What's rook g1 like? Do we want the bishop on f6? As in, do I want to force that to happen? Rook d6. Bishop e5. I'm not so impressed about that. Ha! Lucky that I was bragging about this variation and my immense knowledge. And now it's total struggle town. So that I figured out that the idea will be that I play this first and then that. And thus I'm probably disallowing a couple of annoying things. But maybe not. Maybe knight b4 is still annoying. If rook here, queen e6, we check there. I have to mind that. Yeah. My original idea was to play rook d4, rook e4, but it looks so ugly, man. It does look a very ugly move. Could go rook e5, I guess. Rook e5, bishop f6, right? Then the knight hangs. So I pulled it back. He plays a5. I play probably a3. The knight goes back, f4. That looks like semi-normal, but I feel like I got outsmarted again. Okay, let's go here. Vishnu is definitely giving me a bit of a grief here. So bishop here, rook here. If queen f5, this hangs. If he drops back... Okay, so now he can play queen f5 again. But I guess I have a3 as per discussed before. Then again, knight d5 is interesting. And I wouldn't be very excited to give up this bishop. Maybe after queen f5 I have something like rook here threatening the bishop and the knight. Okay. So he wants to play now a4. But I've got queen c4 there with a tempo on the queen, right? So for example, a3, a4, queen c4, queen takes, rook takes, knight c6, pawn f4 lands us in the optimal endgame scenario. Yeah, let's go for that. I want that to happen. Objectively speaking, I may have had a better rook d1 perhaps. Again, forcing a similar scenario, but even having the rook on the optimal square. But we are headed for what I know. And yesterday, whilst I was listening to the tennis commentary, Fitzy said that Mr. Fitzgerald, who has won about 8 Grand Slams, that when players are under some kind of pressure, they tend to fall back onto what they know the best. And I felt that that was such a true statement across so many disciplines, including a variety of sports, including chess. So here I felt a little bit out of my depth with this queen c8 thing, and I couldn't quite figure out. The guy keeps on playing very fast moves. Who was doing what to whom. And so I thought that the best way to manage the situation is if I go for something that I do know. And I did. Quite amazingly, I can't really increase my pressure here, which is very frustrating to say the least. Is there any merit in putting my bishop here? Bishop h3, but again, I can't really get to this. How about if we go here and here, though? Yeah, I like that, man. Yeah, the bishop was left to its own devices. Haha. Gotcha, Baba. Gotcha. I found an insanely beautiful win. If rook here, bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop c5, bishop c7, rook takes, bishop takes, rook here, and the mate on e8 is unstoppable or stoppable, but only at the expense of the bishop. Wowzers, that's a beautiful line. Check that out. Rook d8, bishop takes c6, which is a risky move, by the way, so I definitely need to get something out of that story. Now, if it takes with the rook, I take the pawn. That's totally fine. That justifies giving up the bishop. If it takes with the pawn, I play bishop c5. Now, this hangs. and he can't defend it, but he has these two moves to go back to defend the rook. But then I take that rook, he takes back with the bishop. So now my bishop is here, a pawn is here. And so when I go here, he can't stop this check because the rook can't go across here because there's a pawn here. And he can't go to the back rank because there's a bishop here that blocks the view. Haha! Inside the head, baby. Now I haven't even considered, oh boy, please allow me to execute this. That would give me so much satisfaction. Actually, I found another winning line, by the way. In case of rook takes, I had rook takes, pawn takes, and bishop here. And then back. But this is just breathtakingly beautiful. Now, I rarely say this, but I'm very impressed with how I played this whole game. Because I have had several difficult moments, which I think I managed to overcome rather well. And this piece of calculation that I just called out and happened was a neat touch. So, yeah, that was pretty neat, man. That was really good. I just thank my opponent for the good games. Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Okay, let's have a look. Analysis. Now, I expect that this was a little bit rocky in the middle game. I'm not so sure about my moves after Queen C8. But afterwards, I think we mopped up the rest pretty neatly. So again, I'm trying to model what people who would aim to improving chess should do. You play the game, you go to analysis mode, you wait for the engine to load so that this weird layout changes into the correct one. Other people told me that for them it takes no time, literally, to complete the whole entire analysis. For some reason, my engine takes it rather slowly, slow but steady, and usually gets stuck on 98. Maybe it just can't handle what's inside my head, man. That's what's happening here. Okay, let's begin. So the opening was all fine until here. This is all opening theory, and yeah, here we go. And I got stuck on Queen C8 inaccuracy. So it's important that I did notice that my theory goes with Queen C7 and Queen C8 is inaccurate, but for the life of me I couldn't refute it. Bishop D3 was the correct move, and I thought that I fell for Knight B4. Oh, you clown, you had Bishop F5. Oh, bugger. And then the rook comes in. Ah, it sucks to be a terrible chess player. Don't do that, please, guys. Be sure that you are good players, not like me. I had the right idea, and I went Bishop G2. What a plonker. Knight B4 was also inaccurate, apparently after Queen E6, because of this check, which I did highlight actually during my calculations. I would have been in severe trouble. Knight D4, Rook E5 was correct. Yeah. Bishop D6. I was looking at Rook C1 here, and I rejected it on account of... well, being a doozy for sure. Can't even remember why I rejected it, because it looks like such an obviously good move. Queen D7? I don't know. So Rook D1, I did say that Rook D1 was best. Probably, but I opted for A3 because players, when in trouble, revert back to what they know best, and I knew that A4, Queen C4 would be good for me, but Queen D1, wow, tactics, dude! Ah! This is such a terrible chess game, wowzers! Yep. I've got nothing to say in my defense, folks. Double attack, kindergarten tactics. That hurts. The only reason why I'm feel okay about this game now is because I found this finish off rather nicely. Take. So I was saying that if they had taken, then after takes bishop c5 is no good, because then the bishop can drop back in fact to either of the squares, and then the bishop ending is weird. But if I go here first, then the rook can't go here, because then I take, they can't take because of back rank mate. And if it comes up here, then I swing back, and that's winner winner chicken dinner. So yeah, that was winning like so, and the game turned out exactly I wanted to, and that was really, really juice. But boy, oh boy, Mr. Chess Coach, you need to work on your tactics. So now this would immediately give me a bit of an incentive as to A, I needed to look up and refresh this line, and 2, scratch my head over why is my tactics so bad today, and probably be hopping onto puzzles and solve some, because that wasn't nowhere near good enough. Anyway, folks, that was inside my head. It was a rather messy place to be in, with lots of weird thoughts today, so I'm glad that now you can get out of my head and get into your own and play your own chess games. Best of luck with that, and I hope to catch you later. Bye.